When we think of St. Patrick, we imagine shamrocks, Ireland, and celebrations every March 17th. But the real story of this figure is far more interesting. To begin with, St. Patrick was not Irish. He was born in Roman Britain, probably at the end of the 4th century. When he was about 16 years old, he was captured by Irish raiders and taken to Ireland as a slave. For 6 years he worked as a shepherd. It was during this time of isolation that his deep spiritual life began. According to his own writings, because yes, St. Patrick left autobiographical texts, he had a dream in which a voice told him he would soon return home. He managed to escape and make his way back to his family. But years later, another dream called him back to Ireland, this time as a missionary. One of the symbols most associated with St. Patrick is the shamrock. Tradition says he used it to explain the Christian Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. However, historians believe this story appeared centuries later. Another famous legend says that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland. But there is a curious detail. Ireland never had snakes after the last ice age. Because of this, many researchers believe the story is symbolic. The snakes may represent ancient pagan traditions that faded as Christianity spread. It is also interesting to ask why March 17th became his feast day. Tradition says this marks the day of his death, around the year 461. For that reason, the Church began commemorating that date. Some historians also note that this celebration falls close to the spring equinox, a time when nature begins to awaken after winter, and light and darkness return to balance. In many ancient cultures, this period of the year symbolized renewal and the return of light. There is no direct evidence that St. Patrick's Day replaced a specific pagan festival, but like many Christian celebrations, it may have been integrated into a time of the year that already held meaning for local communities. Interestingly, many places associated with St. Patrick in Ireland were sacred long before Christianity. Mountains, wells, and hills connected with ancient Celtic traditions. This reminds us of something important. Ireland's spiritual history was not a complete break with the past, but a transformation where ancient symbols and new beliefs began to coexist. Perhaps that is why the story of St. Patrick still resonates today. Because beyond the legends, it is a story about journey, change, and transformation.